Welcome back to the Totally Awesome Trebuchet Awards, everybody. I am here with local artist Rob O'Neill. Yeah.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Doing really well. I just got the go-ahead, the green light from the Grand Rapids Griffins to do a third comic book.
Yes, he is a comic book artist, for those of you that don't know at home. He does awesome work. You've had 2 issues out so far.
It's an annual event. It's gone very well. It's something that they give away normally either on Superhero Night or on the matinee, where the kids come in at 11 o'clock in the morning. You know, all the school buses are dropping kids off, and they get a comic book when they come in. So they get a day off from school. They get to see a hockey game and get a free comic book on the way out.
All right.
So yeah, it's a
field
big
trip day, big day for the kids and everything.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's gone over really well, and it'll be officially a trilogy now.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
that's like right up there with Star Wars.
Yeah,
like.
I'm hoping that it'll be an annual event, and someday, you know, I can come back and talk about issue number 9.
We'd be happy to have you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
no.
Congratulations with all that.
Thank you very much.
You got your stuff on the internet there, Rob? You have
I
a
do.
website we can.
It's robthebadger.com.
Put that up right there. Graphic.
And on there's, I've got so many projects. I'm the creator of Captain Obvious. I've got the copyright for that.
Oh, that's cool.
I can send you some of the stuff with the links on that. I've got Blue Line Comics, the stuff I do for the Griffins, tons of print art. I'm active in the Comic-Cons and like I was a featured guest at the Festival of the Arts. So I've got my prints and my posters along with the comic books. So when people stop by and they see me, they can get an autographed poster or whatnot and hang it up in there. And it's all just, there are a lot of artists out there. I don't want to be the 50th guy drawing Harley Quinn.
Right.
So I do a lot of kind of obscure, more leaning toward the humorous side, featuring characters like Deadpool and the Black Knight from Monty Python. And
oh, nice. Got no arms left.
No, and it's one of my prints, and I'll send it to you, is the Black Knight and Deadpool, and they're both missing their limbs.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And at the same time, they're saying, we'll call it a draw.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
The tagline from the end. So, and it's just, I like to keep things light and silly. I've got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters using a big cup of hot cocoa as a hot tub, and he's just relaxing.
It's really creative, and really, you get to use your imagination and everything. That's awesome.
I've got Hellboy on a treadmill, and it says "Exercise your demons."
It's a pun.
Yeah, and so if there's like a Comic-Con, and you've got Artist Alley, and everybody's doing these dark, brooding superhero, blah blah blah, and you walk by, and I've got Velma riding on Unikitty with Starbucks coffee, explosions going everywhere.
It's comic relief. It's awesome.
It stands out.
Yeah.
Like our mutual friend Roger, he does all the horror stuff, and he's the only guy doing it. So somebody will walk by and go, Batman, 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 Harley Quinn, Deadpool. Oh wow, that's a really cool print of Frankenstein or
Frankie
whatever.
Krueger, like.
Right, and he's the only guy doing it. So you want to stand out. You
exactly. Be unique. Be yourself.
Yeah, it's just noise in the background, or stand out.
Yeah. So how did you get started doing comics and everything? Were you a collector as a youth, or?
When I was young, I fell in. I didn't like to read at all.
No.
I was stuck in front of the TV. I was like 7 or 8 years old.
I was a bit of a couch potato too. I can relate.
Yeah. And my mom was like, no. So somebody suggested to her, well, he's a boy, and so maybe he might like comic books. So she went and got me a couple of Spider-Man comic books from, this is back in the days when grocery stores would sell comic books.
Yeah, that was not a thing when I was growing up, really.
So, and that disappeared pretty quickly. And so she grabbed a couple of Spider-Man comic books, brought them home, and I was hooked. It was the classic storylines where he's battling the Green Goblin and Mysterio and stuff like that.
Oh, the old school stuff. Oh, yeah, I love it.
So I couldn't get enough. And then it became, my mom would go to yard sales and stuff like that, and just, if somebody was selling a box of comic books for a dime a piece or whatever. When I got old enough to start doing like, mowing lawns and stuff like that, all my, I'd get $10 to mow a couple of lawns or whatever and just go to the comic book store.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And once I realized people are drawing these, they don't just magically happen. Somebody sits down at a desk and is drawing these pictures. I wanted to do that too. So I was constantly doodling. I was getting in trouble 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Just, I could sleepwalk through most of my classes. It might take me 5 minutes to do a test, and I would spend an hour, doodling on all over the place.
Cool.
And when I would get gifts, the other side of the wrapping paper. I would draw on that. There was not enough paper in the house to keep me busy.
That's so fun.
So now you're in middle school, now you're in high school, and you're getting art classes. I took as many electives as I could and whatnot. So I started doing my own comic book series and comic strip series called The Blue Line, and I was putting those out online when the internet, made it possible.
Yeah.
The Grand Rapids Griffins had some things, and they saw that, hey, these are hockey-themed cartoons, and he lives in our area. They reached out to me and said, we're looking for somebody who can draw a lunchbox for us, and we want our captain to be Superman, because he wears glasses and has a spit curl, and he was on a local news show, and somebody pointed out, you kind of look like Clark Kent.
He's just very superhero-esque. Yes.
So I have the comic
Captain,
book.
our captain.
So I have him on the front of the lunchbox pulling open his suit, and it says Superman. It's the Griffins logo.
Yeah.
And then I've got a picture of him on the back where he's flying, and then they had just won the Calder Cup in 2013.
Big deal. Woo! Love that.
He's hoisting the cup, so it was 4 different panels, and when they asked me to do it, I thought it was going to be a bunch of stickers that they would put on a plastic lunchbox and hand them out. Keep costs low. They're metal and they're painted. They're amazing.
Wow.
And Yahoo Sports said it was the best giveaway that they had ever seen.
Oh, wow.
And I got to do the artwork for it.
That's so awesome.
So just, and then it turned into the lunchbox was a huge success. We actually got press from outside of our community about how great they were.
Oh, yeah.
We're thinking about doing a comic book. And I'm like, great. So they asked a few artists, submit something, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be competing against professionals.
Right.
So I turned my stuff in, and based on the success of some of the other stuff I had done, they said, you're our guy. I'm like, great. All right, tell me what you want. And they said, we don't know.
Oh, really? So they just gave you a clean slate to just do pretty much?
Whatever I wanted to do. And the funny thing was, they had one preconceived notion. They're like, the team's going to win the big game. And I went, no, that's a bad idea. And they're like, well, why is this a bad idea? It's like, you can't use your real players in the comic book. One, it immediately ages it. I was like,
that's a good point. Yeah, they're not even on the team anymore.
They're not on the team anymore. This guy got called up. This guy retired. This guy got traded.
Yeah.
This guy was kind of a journeyman, and all of that stuff is awful.
Right.
And it's like, are you going to talk to the Players Association and start dealing with likenesses?
Issues? Yeah, I've got video games that they don't make anymore because of likeness issues.
Yeah. Or they turn them into generic. It's like, this guy is number 99. He's not Gretzky.
Yeah.
How do you? Yeah, because we're not going to pay him for his likeness, but we'll use his number.
We're going to heavily imply it.
Right.
Yeah, and you just. So what did you end up doing if you couldn't use the actual players?
You've had the same mascot since day one.
True.
That's the only consistent. You haven't had a player for 20 years, but you've had the mascot for 20 years.
Yeah, Griff's been there forever.
Let's make Griff the head of the star of the show. And then, so I'm drawing these pictures, and I'm like, okay, do you want this style? Do you want this style? And then it dawned on me that the mascot doesn't speak. Mascots never talk. So how do I have him as the star of the show if he has no dialogue?
Right.
So I created a cast of characters to go with him. I have 2 hockey players. They're, Logan is kind of the leading man, the straight setup guy, and then Murray's kind of the hipster fun guy.
Okay.
He's got a Bluetooth, skinny jeans, rides a Segway.
Cool.
He's that guy.
Oh, yeah, he's just the everyman,
He's the backup goaltender. He's the fun guy.
Yeah.
And then a couple of kids to keep the kids interested, like middle school aged kids. And now it's kind of like a Scooby adventure. You've got 4 characters.
Yes.
And 1 lovable mascot that doesn't have any dialogue. Like Scooby says the occasional ruh-roh, but very little dialogue.
He's got the Scooby-Doo, but that's about it, you know?
So Griff is the star of the show, but everybody else drives the dialogue. And I keep everything local. Like in the first comic book, we have Helen DeVos Children's Hospital in it. The second one, we've got Griff's Ice House, we've got Rosa Parks Circle, the Waldron building that has the gargoyles on it and the eyes shine at night.
Yeah.
They have that in the comic book too.
It's a great setting for a story to take place,
So when the kids leave the arena, they can go, that's George the Gargoyle.
Just feel like
he's right there.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it's like the comic book come to life kind of thing.
Ma, can we go to the Griffins? Like, you know what I mean? That's awesome.
They have the Winterfest at Rosa Parks Circle, that's featured in the comic book. So the kids can actually go to it, and it's also in the comic book. And I put Easter eggs all over the place. I've got like Velma and Waldo from Where's Waldo in the comics.
That's awesome.
And
like I can never find him. Like,
and this one he's not that well hidden.
Oh, okay.
And the
I'll see if I
shirt
can find
stands
him
out.
later.
But again, it's like a Scooby-Doo adventure, and if I'm creating stuff for middle school aged kids, there's no real violence. There's a lot of running around. There's some jokes. I actually feature Drew and Jim from the Big Drew and Jim show that's on 96.1.
Okay.
They have a panel in it. There's some dad jokes in it. There's like the only thing that you could call even remotely violent in it is the criminally insane unicorn, who's the bad guy in the first one, gets taken out by a stale donut.
Okay, well, be careful.
Yeah.
We don't want nobody hitting nobody with no stale donuts out there.
And in the second issue, the gargoyle is trying to approach a child and say, hey kid, I could be a mascot too, and gets tased by an overprotective mom.
That's right. It's comical, but still, It's,
again, but there's no machine guns or flamethrowers or anything like that. So I try and keep it like
it's not graphic, like.
No. More like a Pokemon adventure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's something for the whole family can enjoy. There's a little something for everybody.
I don't want anything in there that a parent's going to complain about. And so far, knock on wood, nobody's complained about anything in the comic books. It's all been incredibly positive. And with the success of the first issue, they actually let me do a Sunday Funnies type comic strip that's in the back of the graffiti magazines.
Yeah.
So they do 4 of those a year, and I get the very last page of each one.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and the jokes are like, set up, punchline. Like, Moxie is the name of the teenage or preteen girl of the group. She's running through the concourse, swinging keys over her head, and Daryl, or we call him Dare, is like, hey, where are you going in such a hurry? She goes, driving lessons. And he's like, but you're not 15. She goes, that's only for cars. And then the final panel is Griff and her. She's getting a Zamboni driving lesson. So it's a fun kid thing. And who wouldn't want to learn how to drive a Zamboni?
I would love to. I want to learn how to do that right now. If you told me that we got a Zamboni outside, I'd be like, let's go. We are on our way.
I have never had the steering wheel.
Never? Okay.
Yeah, that's like a bucket list thing.
All right. Well, if you know of how we can get to drive a Zamboni, tweet at Trebuchet LOL. You can put that up right there. Help us out. I really want to do that. Sounds like a lot of fun.
If they make Make-A-Wish Foundation things for healthy adults,
yes. Hit us up. Hit us up, please. So I got a couple of trivia questions here that producer Mustache in there wrote up, and we'd like to know if you would be game to play our little trivia game here.
I will give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot. Mustache, if these are too hard, we're gonna give you a swirly later. All right. What former Griffin was the first to win an Olympic medal?
Oh wow. Carol Rachunik?
No, Nicholas Kronwall.
Oh, Kronwall with the Swedes. Yeah.
Okay. Mustache, we're 0 for 1. I'm watching you. All right, number 2. Why is the On-Center War Memorial Arena notable with the Griffins organization?
Is that the one in Syracuse? Is that the one where Slapshot was filmed?
It is where the Griffins won the first Calder Cup. So I believe that's the Syracuse one.
That's where they...
Point. I'll give them a point for that. All right.
Yeah, it's also the trivia thing for their war memorial. It was where several of the scenes of Slapshot was filmed.
I love that movie. The Hanson brothers.
Yeah, the whole thing. And it's. I even forgive the sequels.
Oh, really?
They're an hour and a half long, but there's a good 30 minutes in each of them.
There's enough jokes in there to keep me entertained for a while.
But the first one, beginning to end, just solid movie.
The hits keep on coming. Yep, it's great. It's great.
Amazing.
I highly recommend it.
Not for the kids.
Yes. No. All right. Final question. Kyle Rogers is the only Griffins player to play college hockey at what school?
Harvard.
No, sorry, North Dakota.
Oh.
Mustache. Oh.
As you can tell, I don't do your trivia night.
No, that's fair. I don't do good at it either. Yeah, I go to Fulton Street Pub every Tuesday night. Producer Mustache hosts some trivia over there. But all right, on a more lighter note, we're gonna have you, Rob, hand out this totally awesome Trebuchet Award, and you can hand this out to anybody in the world. And they can come here and they can take this totally awesome Trebuchet Award, but you do not get the frame. If you take the frame, Producer Mustache is going to come to your house and ask you trivia questions until you give it back, and they're going to be really, really hard.
All right. Do I tell you who I'm giving it to?
Yeah, you go ahead and say it right into that camera right there. And
all right. I'm going to give this totally awesome Trebuchet Award to Brittany Stickler.
Oh, yeah.
She works with underprivileged second graders and puts her heart and soul into it. Just a solid human being, top to bottom.
Awesome.
Yep. She invites me in to teach her kids. I've done an art class with her for the last year, every couple of months, and the work that she does, you can't put a value on it. It's priceless.
No, she's probably the most deserving recipient of the Totally Awesome Trebuchet Awards, and we gave one of those to Oprah last show. So
well, and this trumps that.
Yes,
so
it does.
The work that she does is just phenomenal for those kids.
Brittany, you can come here. You can claim this Totally Awesome Trebuchet Award, but you do not get to keep the frame. Sorry. Maybe we'll pick up a nice one for you. Mustache will have to do it. He doesn't want to just throw a bunch of trivia questions at you. And come on back, you guys, for more Totally Awesome Trebuchet Awards.